In watercolor, we like to paint from light to dark, simply because if we paint too dark on something and it is dried, or if it's wet, either way, if we ever touched it, we could pull that dark into our light by accident. So this is why watercolor painters tend to work from light to dark. I'm going to work very, very light here, because what I think is most important is to map out for myself exactly where that highlight needs to stay light. There's many, many subtle colors in this bird. So I think yellow when I think of a goldfinch, even if it's very neutralized like this. So I'm thinking yellow and purple, even though I do see very blue influences and very orange. There's a lot of orange and blue in this as well. But I'm going to think yellow because it's a goldfinch. And I see very beautiful oranges in here. There's every color. And then there's these interesting neutrals up here that are sort of like a gray, a light gray, which I might call purple, or a bluey purple, or a blue, purpley blue, one or the other, but it's very neutralized that no one would see blue in this bird. And some beautiful browns and blacks. And so there's many, many colors in here. What I'm going to do is make a neutral yellow. I'm going to scoop up some more water, drip it in. I'm going to map out my shadows. I'm going to make sort of an orange. I see so many oranges in this shadow here that I feel like starting there. Since I've got this orange here, I want to neutralize the orange with blue. Don't clean my brush off. I just dipped it in here, and I'm going to, I might have too much. Maybe I'll take some off. I'm going to add a bit of blue to this to neutralize this yellow. It's this orange. It's still orange, but it's getting less vibrant. The complementary color blue is starting to destroy the vibrancy of this orange. It's making it, in a way, well, Michael Wilcox calls it neutral. So I'm going to go quickly here. I'm just going to I'm going to add a bit more water. I'm going to scoop up some more water, make this more watery. I don't want it to be dark. I just want it to softly map this out. I'm going to start saying, where are my shadows? And I'm going, wow, I can see this bird starts down in here. I'm just going to start putting something down here. I know I can influence it later with the proper colors, but these are all going to be very dark, and I'm not painting very dark. I'm going to neutralize this just a bit more even. I'm going to come in and make it darker, less orangey. Put a bit of blue in there. It's not the right colors. I'm mapping in a neutral color along where I have decided my my shadow is. This is just one way to paint this. There are many right ways. I will do it. If I was to do it again, I'd do it differently. I'm going to come up here to the head. I see a very yellow. See, this is a neutral color. I'm just going to go beyond it here. I'm going to get this yellow that I had. I took my dirty brush that had this color on it, put it in my yellow. I just feel like putting this up here. It's a little yellowier up here. I'm going to come not right to the edge, because I see a little white highlight all the way along here. I'm going to leave it. I'll fix it up later, make it perfect later. But I just want to, I'm going to leave around that eye. I don't know why, because it's not necessary. I think because I want to keep my pencil lines available for me to see. And if I start painting over the pencil lines, sometimes they disappear. So I'll put that black eye later. I could paint right over that eye. I'm going to see, where do I see that shape, that lovely shape that's underneath the chin? Whoops. Underneath the chin there. There's that lovely triangle. I'm going to make sure I keep that. It needs to say bright. And I'm going to come around here. I'm going to see, oh, there's this neat little, I'm going to start putting more blue in here because I see that gray as blue. I'm just adding some blue in here. It's a bit too bluey maybe. I want to neutralize blue. I add some orange. I'm just going to pick some of this orange up, neutralize it just a bit so it becomes more gray. So that's how blue and orange destroy each other. And that's a beautiful gray right there. I'm going to just start doing that here. Even though this is a little bit light here, like when I hold this up close to the camera, where are you? That looks very bright and light and white. It's not. Compared to this, you have to be honest. This is dark. Even the whitest part right there, it's not bright. So I'm going to come down and I'm just going to believe in light logic. It's in the shadows. It tells me it's dark. If I keep trying to make this white, then this highlight here will never show up. I have got to be truthful. This is in the dark. And because it touched into the yellow there, it's starting to bleed into this. I don't mind. There's no hard edge. Maybe I'm going to get a bit of a hard edge here because I stopped the paper here. I didn't wet this first, but I could have, and maybe I should have. So I'm going to take another brush here. I'm going to take my paper towel and I'm going to wipe off the water and I'm going to scrub this a bit to get rid of that hard line. I don't mind so much if there's a hard line. It's not that hard and it's only my first. So I'm scrubbing that hard line out. It's still a bit there. Once it dried, because that red did dry, because I didn't make it all wet. If I had wetted this, then it would have bled into that area. But I didn't think that far ahead, and I made a sort of a mistake, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to try to soften some of these lines, hard lines. I do want to keep that hard line around the highlight area. I see that this neutral, when I put it in there, it bled into my wet area. I'm going to just encourage it. I'm just going to let it go into that area. It's a neutralized color. Just blend it because there was a spidery thing happening as it starts to move. I just want to soften that. That's how I might start to, it's kind of hard to, there. I'm seeing all the colors underneath my colors. They're not perfect, but they're heading in the right direction. I can see that I'm going to have to make this a lot more orangey. I start eventually, as I keep painting this, I start seeing this more greens in here. The more you look at something, the more you start seeing other colors. You may not see the greens in there right away, but I think I want to exaggerate some of this yellow. I'm going to clean that brush off because I put it, I'm going to start again here. I'm going to put yellow on more yellow. And I feel like I can really see a gorgeous yellow down here. I'm going to start emphasizing that. Just that almost, it's a little bit of a dirtied yellow. I don't really at this point care that it's just clean yellow because I just want to start influencing the yellow because it's such a beautiful yellow color. It's an orangey, it's very orangey, but in order to get that bright orangey, I have to focus on the yellow part of that orange because it's so neutralized that if I just focus on the red of that, the real orange color, it'll be too red. So I've already got it, kind of got a reddish hue, a reddish orange down here. I'm going to just paint right over this, influencing that color to be more of what I think it should be. And you can see that it's more like the color I need. I don't know if you can see the two together. There. It's getting in the right direction. We're heading there. Yeah. we're still seeing it as pretty flat. One of the things we have to be aware of too, that these are all balls. These are all round. The head is a round ball. The body's a round, ovally kind of ball. And we will be, like I can see, it's funny, it got lighter there. It gets a little orangey as it comes up here. I'm going to just stick my brush over here in this orangey bit while it's still a little wet. I don't want it to be too wet. I can just start feeling that ball coming around. So my strokes are actually as if I'm a sculptor, feeling the ball of this bird's body. And if I'm just going very softly, and I can just want to go a little darker up higher. I'm going to take this is my clean brush. I'm going to make sure it's the clean one. So many times I have paint on both brushes, and then if I don't check it, I'll just put it into there and it'll be the wrong thing to do because so I've dried it off because I don't want to put more water. And I'm going to start to just feel that neck. I'm going to feel it's a sculpture. I'm feeling the roundness of it. I've taken away the bluish feeling. I'm going to put some blue back in it. So this is where you could go wrong here. It's a bit wet. I don't really want to keep putting wet in because it'll keep bleeding. It's too wet. This puddle is too wet. I'm going to take some of the wet off my brush. And I'm going to just put some blue, influence the blue of this gray back in. It's very subtle because it's a neutral. I'm going to put a bit more blue. Now I realize it's very blue. Maybe a bit. No, I don't worry because and I'm feeling the way the feathers go around this. Again, it's a ball. And I want to feel, you can see the texture. There's a bit of a texture of the feathers around the head. You can see them going sideways, back towards the back of the neck, like. And I'm trying to get that feel with my strokes. So it's wet, but it's not too wet. And I'm just feeling those feathers, those strokes as they go like that. I'm trying to keep that light area that's white. So I'm going to clean the brush off again, clean that same brush off and dry it off. And now I'm going to just get rid of this hard edge I have here. It's a bit of a hard edge. Let me show you. It's sort of a hard edge between where I want the that light part to be. So I'm going to now just so I've got my clean dry brush, and I'm going to take the color away from the white. I'm just going to soften that edge. I've got color there. I got to clean that off, dry it off again, and keep pulling so I don't have that. I don't like the way that hard edge was there, but I still want to keep that light, and I want to gradually make it darker. If I keep cleaning the dirty stuff off, I dry it off again, and and I see the feathers are going in this way. They're going around the head. The feathers are, and they're going towards the back. And I'm just softly softening that interesting shape that's happening up around here around the head. It's so fun once you start seeing the colors. I like to just stick them in here and there. So I see more yellow here. I'm going to just put some more yellow. It's subtle, but I'm putting it in. I'm starting to see this as much more yellow, greeny yellow. I feel like just flaring this up a bit, just to say, I see you, color. I see that you're in there. Starting to influence. And it gets a more orangey here. I could tap in a bit of orange here while it's wet. And then I'm cleaning my brush off, cleaning it really off. Now I just want to, the orange doesn't go right to the back here. There's a darker color that's rounding around here, but I'm just going to, I don't want to put too much water on here, so I'm just going to keep going like this. Okay, I'm going to stop the video here. And so this is just how to start. Maybe I'll just show you. It's not perfect, but we're starting to get it.